Sports.
We are Black We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is a doubleheader Saturday from Comerica Park, and in Game 1, 23-year-old Drew Verhagen will make his Major League debut in front of the hometown crowd as we welcome you to Comerica Game 2 in this 4-game series featuring the Cleveland Indians and the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pepper alongside Ron Allen. Glad to have you with us here for Game 2. Tigers try and bounce back after a disappointing loss last night. They will do so in Game 1, Ron, with Drew Verhagen on the hill. He goes 6'6". He's a big kid, but I'm sure he's got some butterflies right now.
No doubt about that. I talked to him yesterday in the Tigers clubhouse, and he seemed to be at ease, but that was yesterday. There's no doubt he'll be nervous today. He's got a fastball, he's got a curveball, he also has a changeup, and one of the things he'll have to do today, because Terry Francona, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, he has 6 left-handed bats going up against Verhagen. I'm sure they don't stack lineups like that in the minor leagues, so his changeup will be vital today. His curveball will also be a very important pitch for him today to keep some of these Cleveland Indians off balance.
All right, now one of those left-handed bats will be Michael Brantley. He was an all-star this year, having a terrific season. We've often talked about how this kid is underrated. He is putting it all together this year.
I really love his temperament on the baseball field. It appears that he's never in a hurry to do anything. In the batter's box, his skill set is supreme. Not a lot of moving parts as far as the swing is concerned. He simply picks the front foot up, he puts it back down, and the hand-eye coordination simply takes over. He has gotten big hit after big hit against Tigers pitching all season long. Really, in his career, he's gotten big hits against the Tigers. 7 extra base hits, 11 RBIs. They can't get him out. If you're Verhagen today, if Michael Brantley comes to the plate with runners in scoring position, just simply put him on. I mean, this guy right now is one of their best offensive performers and really has been that for the last couple of years.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Lindsey Hayes. Coming up in this one here this afternoon, well, the Tigers have one advantage of this one. Miguel Cabrera, a lifetime 500 hitter against Corey Kluber. Tigers, Indians, next. for the first time in his career. Major League debut today for Verhagen. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
He's got a fastball that will go anywhere from 89 to 93 miles an hour. He's got a high 3/4 arm slot. He throws straight downhill because of his frame. He's 6 feet 6 inches. He also has a good curveball and a good changeup.
Here's the starting lineup for the Cleveland Indians, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Kipnis, Cabrera, Brantley in your top 3 spots. Santana cleaning up, followed by Chisenhall and Swisher. The bottom 3 of Gomes, Murphy, and Ryan Rayburn getting the start in left field today for the Tribe. Here we go. We're ready for baseball. Game 1 of a doubleheader today at the ballpark. And the first pitch from Drew Verhagen is a strike on Jason Kipnis. Kipnis, 2 out of 5 last night, had the 2 home runs late in the contest. Verhagen's strike 1 pitch is outside, 1-1 the count.
He's got some nice arm side run to his fastball, even though he throws from that high 3/4 arm slot. Because he's so tall, still gets a lot of tilt down and away from the left-handed batters.
1-1 is fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kipnis.
It's going to be very important for Verhagen today to make sure he uses a changeup and also his curveball very early in this game against all the left-handers that Cleveland has in their starting lineup this afternoon.
Kipnis at 257. Swings and misses, and Drew Verhagen strikes out Jason Kipnis, his first batter in the big leagues.
And here's an off-speed pitch thrown by Verhagen, which is going to be vital to his success today. Changeup. Stays up. That's a good pitch to hit if you're Kipnis, but Verhagen got away with it.
1 gone. That'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Verhagen is out of Royce City, Texas. He is 6'6", 230, only 23 years of age. And starting game 1 in the doubleheader, the Tigers needed an extra pitcher, so he was called up from AAA Toledo. And Cabrera looks at ball 1 outside.
I told you I shook his hand yesterday. He's got big hands, so it doesn't surprise me that he grips his changeup the way that he grips it before he even puts it into his glove. That's not a split-fingered fastball he throws. That's a changeup. He'll start with that grip. He'll simply change the grip to the fastball or the curveball grip if he wants to change any of that pitch.
4th round pick back in 2012, just a couple of years ago. And he shows bunt, takes it outside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Asdrubal Cabrera. Just underway here, game 1 of 2 between these 2 clubs. Cleveland with a comeback win last night, the 7-run 7th. That is foul down the left field line. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Cabrera. Verhagen was 6-7 with a 3.67 ERA at Toledo, and with all the lefties in the lineup for the Indians, the thought was that Robbie Ray would get the call up to start this game, but Ray had struggled at his last 2 starts.
Yeah, Tigers couldn't justify calling Robbie Ray up after his last outing for sure.
Swing and a miss. How about that? Verhagen strikes out the first 2 big league hitters he faces.
93 with that last fastball. He's been led today by Brian Holiday, and Brian Holiday knows Verhagen. He threw this ball right by Cabrera. 4-seam fastball.
That'll bring up Brantley, who had a monster night last night for the Indians. A 4-hit effort for the All-Star Michael Brantley.
Brantley won't try to pull that 93-mile-per-hour fastball. He'll simply try to hit the ball to left field. That's why he's batting .330. He will go foul line to foul line.
More bunted, and Verhagen off to make the play, and his throw is off the glove of Miguel Cabrera. So the first base runner of the ball game for the Indians.
It's a nice play by Drew on the mound. He bounces off, but he takes too many steps to get the ball over to Miggy, and he dropped down to a sidearm arm slot. That ball tailed on Miggy. Therefore, Miggy couldn't catch it. As a matter of fact, Brantley was approaching first base at the same time that that ball got in Miggy's glove. I think there may have been some contact between Miggy and also Michael Brantley.
It'll be an infield hit, bunt single for Brantley, who now has 5 hits in this series.
Yeah, that left arm did make some contact with Miggy's glove.
Here's Carlos Santana now with 2 outs. Santana was 1 for 4 with a walk in last night's game. And he looks at ball one.
Here's one more look. It's a better look here at the contact between the glove and the arm of Brantley. Brantley has 11 steals. On that last delivery, Verhagen was not very fast at all. So if he continues at that pace, Brantley's off and running.
He is 11 for 11 this year as Santana takes low again. 2 balls, no strikes.
And Sandy Alomar Jr., the first base coach, has the stopwatch in his hand. He's already relayed to Brantley the first 2 times on how fast Verhagen gets the ball to the catcher, Brian Holiday.
Verhagen struck out Kipnis and Cabrera. Bunt single for Brantley. And now the 2-0. Instead, he goes back to the bag at first. Santana batting just .208 this year. He does have 14 home runs. And he's knocked in 37. The 2-0. Fouled off the mask of Brian Holiday. 2 balls and 1 strike. Santana's bounced around. He began the season as the primary third baseman. Then Lonnie Chisenhall got off to a great start offensively, and Santana was moved across the diamond to first base. There's Chisenhall waiting on deck. Of course, Santana came up with the Indians as a catcher, and they acquired him from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He caught his first couple of years with the Indians. And there's the ball high. 3-1.
Santana started his minor league career as a infielder with the Dodgers before they moved him to that catching position.
Santana has dealt with a concussion this year. Batting here with 2 outs. The runner at first just underway. Now the 3-1. And it's low, ball 4. That'll put 2 on now for the Indians. And then it brings up Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall was 1 for 3, walked a couple of times in last night's game, and in fact had a 13 pitch at bat before walking late in last night's contest. Early scoring opportunity after the first 2 strikeouts. Got Brantley at second, Santana at first. And Verhagen misses outside. 1 ball to no strikes. You look at the numbers that Drew has had in the minor leagues. He really hadn't given up too many home runs. In fact, only 9 homers and only 270 innings pitched. Only 9 home runs in that stretch in the minor leagues. And sinker has kept the ball in the ballpark for the most part. And he drops one low to run the count 2-0.
Here are his minor league numbers, his splits. Against lefties, they hit .298 against him. Right-handers, .251. We've told you that 6 of the starting 9 here today bat left-handed for Terry Francona. And the first 5 hitters are batting left-handed today.
Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss. Quick throw down to second. Now they got Brantley throw to third. The tag is in time.
Outstanding job by Brian Holiday.
Brantley caught between second and third. He is out at third base to end the inning. Holiday comes up firing, and the Indians are out of the inning. The first in a scoreless game.
And Michael Brantley at second base doesn't make many mistakes, but Ryan Holiday noticed that he was too aggressive with a secondary lead, trying to score on the base hit. Had Chisenhall gotten one, he threw behind him. Suarez alertly came to meet the baseball, getting it to Castellanos to get the Tigers out of that first inning jam. Nice observation there by Brian Holiday.
So the Tigers will take their first swings here against Corey Kluber. The Indians had a threat going, but the play by Holiday fizzles that threat. Jackson batting .253 starts it off against Kluber. Cloudy, overcast day at the ballpark today. There is strike one on Jackson. Jackson 0 for 4 in the opener last night. Now Kluber's 0-1 pitch. That's in there for a strike.
Kluber will give you a heavy dose of fastballs, and his fastball tops out at about 96 miles an hour. That's his four-seam fastball. He also cuts a lot of fastballs, anywhere from 89 to 92, and he has an assortment of different off-speed pitches to go with those two fastballs.
Just missed the outside corner there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jackson just 2 out of 14 against Kluber career. Corey certainly had a first half which could have landed him an all-star bid. He was part of the final vote, which eventually was won by Chris Sale.
Here's that cut fastball at 90 miles an hour. Look at the life on this pitch, and it acts pretty much like a slider. But that's a fastball there.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase. First strike out of the ball game for Kluber. The rest of the Tigers lineup looks like this. It is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. You saw Jackson, Kinsler, and Cabrera to follow, followed by Victor, J.D. Martinez, and the Nick Castellanos. Bottom 3 is Suarez, Holiday, and Rajai Davis, who's been hot over his last 6. Here are the numbers on Corey Kluber.
He's been their best pitcher this year, looking for his 10th victory here this afternoon. The ERA just a shade over 3. And take a look at the strikeouts to walks ratio for Corey Kluber. 142 punch-outs. He's only walked 32 this year.
And he'll face Ian Kinsler here with 1 out. Kinsler takes ball 1.
Tigers need to get ready to hit that fastball today against Kluber, especially early in the game.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. And it's hit on the ground to the shortstop to his left on Asdrubal Cabrera. 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. It also brings us to our Bernstein advantage here this afternoon. Cabrera is 500 career against Corey Kluber.
Whoa!
3 home runs. 12 for 24.
And the crowd, they just love the big fella.
.308 overall this year now for Miguel with 75 RBIs. A couple of hits in the ball game last night. And he looks at strike 1.
Yeah, the 75 RBIs by Miguel, the most in the American League. He also has 34 doubles, which also paces the junior circuit.
Now Kluber with the 0-1. And he hits the outside corner. 0-2. Cabrera not so sure. Scott Berry, our home plate umpire for game 1. That was certainly on the edge, close enough to call the strike.
A little tailing action on that 2-seam fastball there from Kluber. Some late life on that fastball.
Off the plate that time, 1-2.
Kluber has gotten himself in trouble when he has tried to come inside against Miguel Cabrera. All 3 of the first pitches to Miggy, all on the outside part of the plate, all in the mid-90s.
Outside again, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kluber is out of Jacksonville, Florida, goes 6'4", 215. Making his 21st start. And the 2-2. On the ground, left side, diving stop by Asdrubal Cabrera from his knees, not in time. Terrific play by Cabrera, but Miguel able to beat it out.
If you're Cabrera, because the ball got to you so quickly, You might be better served if you get up and try to throw Miggy out versus throwing from one knee back across your body. The throw probably would have been more accurate, and he probably would have been able to get more on the throw, but he elected to throw from one knee. Therefore, Miguel able to beat it out.
And it keeps the inning going now as Victor Martinez will stand in against the shift. He's not so shabby either against Kluber. 471. Couple of home runs.
Victor started his major league career with the Cleveland Indians, and since he has left Cleveland, he's made a couple of stops, one in Boston and now one here in Detroit. He is simply worn out his old teammates, his former club.
Slap back out of play 0-1.
Good to see Victor back out there again this afternoon after the night game last night, especially after missing a couple of weeks with that sore side. Excuse me.
Well, it's just amazing to watch this guy, and he hadn't made a start since July 4th. He just rolls back into the starting lineup last night, picks up a couple of hits. Victor now has hit safely in his last 4. The batting average at .330. Here's the 0-1. Pull to the right side and a diving stop. Kipnis, who played him on the shift, and he throws him out. Great play by the second baseman, Jason Kipnis, stretching out to his right. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. And by Stacy's Pita Chips, Crisps, and Bagel Chips. That's the Stacy's way, and we're not messing with it. No score in this one as we go to the top of the second here at the ballpark.
Take a look at the Tigers' starting defensive alignment. It is presented by Beaumont Health System. Davis, Jackson, Martinez in the outfield. Castellanos, Suarez, Kinsler, Miggy in the infield, and Brian Holiday is the catcher this afternoon.
And Drew Verhagen drops in a breaking ball to get things started here in the second inning. It'll be Liney Chisenhall.
Good pitch there. Will get me over breaking ball at 73 miles an hour by Drew.
That one fouled straight back. 0-2 the count. Verhagen struck out the first 2 batters he saw in the first inning, then gave up an infield single, a walk, but Brantley was caught edging off the bag at second base. They threw him out at third to end the inning. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Awkward swing there by Chisenhall. 3 strikeouts already for Verhagen.
And there's that changeup that Verhagen throws. It acts a lot like a splitter, but it's not a split-fingered fastball. Doesn't have much of a tumbling effect to it, but because he throws it straight over the top, it's a real nice pitch for him. Releasing that ball out in front. Stiff front leg. I love Phantom Cam.
It's awesome. It gives you a look like no other Cam can. Here is Swisher batting .211. Couple of hits, 3 RBIs late in last night's game. And he looks at ball 1. The 1-0 is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike on Swisher.
Don't expect Verhagen to shake off Brian Holiday much here today. Holiday knows these hitters a lot better than Drew does. Therefore, he'll just follow the leadership today of Brian.
Brian's had a little bit more experience catching Verhagen than Avila has. Holiday getting the start in game 1. Swing and a miss and a big rip there by Swisher. 2-2 the count.
He doesn't look afraid out there, does he?
Well, that's the one thing Brad Ausmus said that stood out in spring training, his poise on the mound. It's fouled off.
Had a nice conversation with him yesterday in the Tigers clubhouse. Didn't appear to be nervous at all. Gave me a real nice scouting report on his 3 pitches, the fastball, the curve, the change. Said he's really worked hard on the curveball and the changeup the last couple of years.
His strikeout high in AAA this year was 6. Did that against Durham. He already has 3 punch-outs in this game. There's the 2-2. And he got him, strike 3 in the outside corner. Swisher with a quizzical look. Verhagen has about 20 to 25 members of his friends and family here in this game today. And they're cheering him on.
Nice breaking ball here thrown by Verhagen. It appeared that Swisher had a beef. That ball appeared to be off the plate, but Scott Berry is calling the balls and strikes. Gave Drew the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, the rookie got the call that time over the veteran. Here's Yan Gomes. 262 for Gomes. 1 for 3 in last night's game. Ball 1 from Verhagen. No score. We're in the second. Game 1 of 2 here today at Comerica Park. Cloudy overcast for game 1. Temperature in the upper 60s right now. Bouncing ball to short. 2 steps to his left. Suarez. And Verhagen has a 1-2-3 second. Nicely done. Verhagen 2 scoreless innings in his major league debut.
And while we have a moment, let's set the Tribe defensive alignment for you. It's presented by Tim Hortons. And I told you yesterday that if they're going to make up the 6.5 game deficit that they right now currently are in and chasing the Tigers, they've got to do a better job defensively. They've committed 77 errors already this year, 979 fielding percentage, which is the worst in the majors.
Yan Gomes had a throwing error in last night's game, leading to a run, his 12th error of the season. And now Kluber goes back to work. He's got J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, and Eugenio Suarez in there for strike one.
As good as Yan Gomes is, and as well as he throws to the bases, you'd have to think that 12 errors for him is somewhat of a fluke here this early in the season.
Yeah, I would think so. It's a really high number. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Martinez.
But they've committed a lot of errors up the middle. Their shortstop Cabrera's committed 14. Kipnis, their second baseman's committed 8. So that's a lot of mishandling of the baseball by the middle of their infield.
Lazy fly ball to center field. Michael Brantley is under it, and JD is out. 1 gone. Hey, by the way, Fiesta Tigres is August 2nd, and the Tigers battle the Rockies at 7:08. Get a ticket to the game and an exclusive Pudge Rodriguez number 7 t-shirt. Offer available exclusively at tigers.com/fiesta. 1 out now for Nick Castellanos. Nick in the ball game last night had a 2-base hit in his first at bat. His only hit of the night. And then Kluber delivers outside. 1-0. Nick batting .262. Swing and a miss. Right-handers came in batting just .226 against Kluber this year. He put together a really good month of May, was 4-0 in May with an ERA a little over 2. And really his numbers every month have been fairly consistent. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little bit of a light rain falling now here at the ballpark. They had the tarp on the field before the game started, then it cleared out. Now the rain is falling. Got him, strike 3 on the outside corner. Castellanos caught looking.
Good four-seam fastball away from his arm side on the outside black by Kluber. And Yan Gomes, the catcher, set up off the plate, but the glove is right on the corner, and Kluber hit that glove.
Second strikeout of the ballgame for Kluber. Here's Eugenio Suarez. Two more hits last night for Suarez. 0-1.
Suarez bumped up to that number 7 slot today in Brad Ausmus's lineup.
He has Holiday and Davis batting behind him here this afternoon. 3 home runs this year and 11 driven in.
Torrey Hunter does not have good numbers against Corey Kluber, so and when he got to the ballpark today, the computer spit his name out.
They red flag him?
Red flag today. Beep, beep, beep.
Here's the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Suarez.
I mean, that's what it's come to these days with Brad. I mean, you simply look at your 4 outfielders, you look at who they're going up against that day, and whoever really doesn't have the best numbers, he's usually the guy that's going to get an afternoon off.
But does his computer actually beep?
I just thought I'd throw that in.
Sound like you were backing up a truck or something.
Maybe that's just my computer.
Could be. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Suarez.
Yeah, but Torrey hitting just 188 against Kluber, 3 for 16. So that's why he's getting the afternoon off.
The 2-2 is a little high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on. Tigers bat here in the second. We are scoreless to this point. Kluber in search of his 10th win here this afternoon. And his 3-2. High fly ball. Left center field. Brantley drifting over. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's new King's Hawaiian Roast Beef BLT today. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. See the clouds hanging over the Rensen in downtown Detroit. It is scoreless as we go to the top of the third. Tigers and Indians game one in this doubleheader today. Drew Verhagen goes back to the hill in the third inning. He's got Murphy, Rayburn, and Kipnis. Got a 1-2-3 in the second. Now Murphy leads off the third. Batting .241, 6 home runs this year. Was hitless last night before lifted for a pinch hitter. And he looks at ball one. Murphy, former first rounder of the Boston Red Sox. Most of his big league career spent in a Texas uniform. 2-0 the count. Yet another left-handed batter getting a start here today against the right-hander for Hagen. Here's the 2-0, and it's low, 3-0. He's taking it's ball four. He lost him on 4 straight. Time for a game break. To the studio we go with Lindsey Hayes. Lindsey, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a 1.5 spread now in the American League West.
The Angels have been one of the hottest teams in baseball the last month, and that's how they've been able to get right back in the race out in the West.
Meanwhile, the A's, man, they've got some magic going on in that ballpark late in games, don't they?
It was Donaldson yesterday.
Yeah.
3-run home run to straightaway center field, and that's not the easiest ballpark to reach the seats in center. Donaldson's got a lot of power.
Ryan Rayburn, the batter. Rayburn takes outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rayburn did not start in last night's game, but he came on in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter. He had a couple of doubles in the contest, and therefore getting the start today against a right-hander. And Rayburn, a double play candidate, takes a big swing, doesn't get out of the batter's box all that fast. So if Drew can keep the ball down at the bottom of the zone, he could get that double play.
2 doubles, RBI, 2 out of 3 last night for Rayburn, who bumped his average to 208. It's been a slow start for Rayburn, who had a couple of injuries early in the season in spring training that kind of carried over into the regular season. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, Rayburn's batting average is below 200, batting right-handed and left-handed. This was a pinch hitter last night against Ian Kroll, slicing a double down in the right field corner. Then he came up in that very next inning, and he also doubled. This one went to left center field. So nice night for Ryan Rayburn last night against his former club.
Fouled away, and Ryan admits that he's a very streaky hitter, and we have seen it over the years here. When he gets on stretches where he is going good, he can carry a club for a week, week and a half.
Well, he made their team last year as a minor league free agent. He wasn't on the roster when spring training began. He won a job, he made the team, and then he parlayed that into a 2-year contract extension.
Murphy chased back to first base. Leadoff walk here in the third. No runs, 1 hit for both teams. Rayburn waiting on a 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Verhagen played his college ball at Vanderbilt. He also played at Navarro Junior College. In fact, his team won a Junior College World Series title at Navarro. Also spent some time at Oklahoma.
Vanderbilt has had some pretty good players come out of there lately.
Boy, have they. There's a ball inside, 3-2.
Some good pitchers. David Price, you've heard of him. And Mike Minor, Sonny Gray, Pedro Alvarez. He's got a lot of power in his bat.
Three-2 with a runner going, and it's fouled back out of play. So Murphy will head back to first base.
And Terry Francona gambling here in the 3rd inning. And with nobody out, and the fact that Verhagen does have already 4 strikeouts. If he strikes out Rayburn, then Holliday's going to have a great opportunity at throwing out Murphy.
Here he goes again. Driven toward left field. Davis coming on. Rajay will make the catch. Murphy has to hustle back, and he gets back in there standing up. 1 out. Time now for our predictions for today's Fox Sports Detroit Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's new triple cheeseburger for only $2. I'm going with Victor Martinez today.
We've got the rookie on the mound this afternoon, Drew Verhagen.
Justin White is going with Miguel Cabrera. Those are our selections for Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game this afternoon. There's Jason Kipnis. Struck out to start the ball game, 0 for 1. And he looks at a strike, 0-1.
And Kipnis hit his 4th home run in the 7th inning last night, a slide piece that was down from Albuquerque. Then in the 9th inning against Chad Smith, he played long ball again. This is the fastball down and in, and just simply dropped the bat head on it and circled the pillows again.
Ball inside, 1-1 the count.
I was talking to Ty Van Berkeley before the game yesterday. Ty's a really good friend of mine. We played together in Japan, played against each other in the minor leagues. He said the one guy they really needed to pick it up in the second half would be Jason Kipnis. He's not the only one, but they really needed him to pick up and continue to do what he had started last year for the Cleveland Indians.
304 in the month of July. Well, there without Michael Bourne, who is back on the disabled list with a bad hamstring. They expect to lose him for 3 to 4 weeks. He was recently placed on the DL early July.
Michael Bourne has had several stints on the disabled list since the Indians acquired him last offseason.
Yeah, those hamstrings just have always consistently been an issue, so he's out again.
Especially for a guy that really relies on his legs.
The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Kipnis.
And Verhagen doing a nice job making sure that he does not forget about David Murphy, who's at first base, keeping the double play in order.
Prior to last night, Kipnis had not homered in 96 career at-bats in this ballpark, and then he hit homers in back-to-back at-bats. It's down the left field line. Long run for Rajai Davis. He'll get there in foul ground for the out. 2 down. Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. He also struck out in the first inning. 1 of 4 that has been posted now by Verhagen to go with his 2 walks. And it's in there for strike 1.
Second time we've seen him do that today. That little slow breaking ball at 73 miles an hour, able to thread the needle, and for strike 1.
One ball and 1 strike. I mentioned Verhagen getting the chance to pitch here today because Robbie Ray had struggled in his last 2. He would have been the guy the Tigers probably would want to start, being left-handed, but Robbie gave out 12 runs in his last 7 1/3, covering his last 2 starts. So that pretty much gave Verhagen an opportunity, who was pitching better at the time. And Jim Leland used to say that all the time. The guy that's pitching the best a lot of times will get the chance.
That's right.
And that was Verhagen. So here he is.
Saw Jim again today at the ballpark. He was walking around at the Tigers clubhouse. Players absolutely love the former skipper.
Runner goes on 2-1. Here comes the throw from Holliday. The tag in time for the out. Murphy caught stealing. Holliday with the gun. Suarez with the tag. Detroit fan photo. For a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast, it is brought to you by AT&T. Detroit fan photo is the hashtag. Here come the Tigers now as we go to the bottom of number 3 here at the ballpark. It'll be Holliday. It'll be followed by Davis and then Austin Jackson. Nice crowd here for the opener. This is, of course, the makeup of a game that was called because of cold weather earlier in the season, the month of April. Holiday gets the start behind the dish in game 1. Avila will catch game 2. And Bryan batting .278. Kluber's first pitch is a strike, 0-1. Corey Kluber had a 1-2-3 second. Cabrera got him for a single in the first, but no damage done. There's a ball inside, 1-1.
Corey Kluber is 6 of 8 in first pitch strikes, and pretty much all the first pitches have been fastballs.
Lifted to center field. Brentley moving back. One gone. By the way, you can join us again tomorrow when the Tigers wrap up their series with these Indians. Our coverage begins at noon with Tigers Live. Tigers and Indians tomorrow at noon right here on Fox Sports Detroit. The nightcap in this doubleheader can be seen on Fox Sports 1 later this evening. But again, a really good crowd here. Good gathering for game 1 this afternoon. Here's Rajai Davis batting .296. And he looks at ball 1 from Kluber. Davis had himself a really good first half. His first season with the Tigers. He had some key moments for Detroit. Of course, the walk-off grand slam against the Oakland Athletics was maybe the biggest. That's on the outer edge, 1-1. Davis has also helped the Tigers win a few games with his legs. He has 24 stolen bases, adding an element of speed to the Tigers' offense. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. His numbers certainly, though, have given him an opportunity, or at least would have given him an opportunity to play every day had it not been for the emergence of J.D. Martinez, who came in and grabbed a lot of that playing time.
He sure did. Yeah, but Rajai just continues to do what he can do. You can't control how much you play, but when he does get opportunities, he just continues to get hits. He had 3 hits on Sunday right before the break and could not get in the starting lineup yesterday because of the emergence of J.D. Martinez.
He's gone ahead 3-2 in the count here. Pulls this one on the ground. A broken bat ground ball to third. Chisenhall gets him by a step. 2 up, 2 down here in the third. That'll bring up Austin Jackson. Jackson, a strikeout in the first inning, is 0 for 5 in the series. Oh, 1 on Jackson. Another first pitch strike for Kluber. Corey has struck out as many as 13 in a ball game this year. He did that against the White Sox in early May. We'll shoot that one down the right field line. Fair ball, going to go to the corner. Extra bases for Jackson. And he'll pull into second with a 2-out, 2-base hit.
That's a real nice swing by Austin Jackson. Most of the fastballs that Kluber has thrown today against the right-handers have all been away from them. And so Jackson simply created the bat angle, and by starting with the bat knob and then got the bat head lagging in where he makes contact with that baseball, allows him to drive it down in the right field corner for a stand-up double.
Tigers have their first runner to second base in this game. We'll see now if they can get the 2-out hit from Kinsler.
And Tigers had quite a few members in their starting lineup today that had good numbers against Corey Kluber. And Miggy, Victor, and Austin Jackson is one of those as well.
Ball 1 high. Kinsler grounded out his first time up. Fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you're wondering about the outfielder's arms, in left field, Ryan Rayburn has a good throwing arm. He's got a right fielder's arm playing left field. Brantley has 10 assists, but I'm not so sure that his arm works as well in center field as it does on the corners. And Murphy in right field has an average arm for a right fielder. So that's just in case there's a base hit by Ian Kinsler. You know what the outfielder's arms are like.
And the 1-1 inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
He hasn't done a lot of that today. He hasn't thrown many fastballs inside.
Tigers got a 2-out single in the first, and this is their real first good scoring chance. But he comes with 2 outs. Here's the 2-1. In there, 2-2 now on Kinsler.
A cut fastball that stayed up. I think it froze Ian because he started this one at him, and it ended up right down the middle of the plate.
Kinsler made his 4th All-Star game this year. First in a Tigers uniform, obviously. And Kluber ready with the 2-2. Got him, strike 3. Kinsler is caught looking. It'll be the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Corey Kluber. It comes with a runner at second. We'll go to the 4th.
In the Tigers uniform so far has been pretty good. He has 4 strikeouts. He's walked a couple, but that really hasn't hurt him. He has a really good changeup that he holds like it's a split fingers fastball. One's up, then there's another one that gets down in a better area. He also has a 4-seam fastball, about 93, his top fastball today, and a curveball. No slider for Verhagen.
Well, his family is here. As we mentioned, he has between 20 and 25 friends and family here. And so far, they've got to be thrilled to see 3 scoreless innings. He's given up just 1 hit so far.
His dad, Glenn, and his mom, Margie, part of the fan club this afternoon watching Drew.
Well, they watched him strike out Kipnis and Cabrera to start the game. 2 of his 4 punch-outs in this one. That is pulled foul at first base. Cabrera, Brantley, and then Santana here in the 4th. Cleveland no runs, 1 hit, and the Tigers no runs, 2 hits. Cabrera struck out in the first inning, 0 for 1. And 1 for 6 in the series for the Tribe. 1-2 the count. Struble now has 9 home runs. He hit his 9th in last night's game. That leads all American League shortstops. He also leads them in runs scored as well. And he pulls that one right at Cabrera. 1 away. They catch every strikeout, every game ender, every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That is a really good show if you've not had a chance to see it yet. Get you caught up on what's happening all around baseball. Here's Michael Brantley. Bunt single his first time up. And Brantley looks at a strike.
This time of year, I find it very difficult to watch anything other than baseball on television. And sometimes that doesn't go over very well in my house.
Now, do you control the clicker in your house?
Well, no, because I have multiple TVs, but it's just the fact that sometimes I just watch too much baseball.
There's nothing wrong with that. Well, Brantley is out. Believe it or not.
They got him out?
Yep. 2 gone. Got him on a 3 unassisted ground out. Brantley can't believe it either.
He doesn't make many right turns here at Comerica Park.
Here's Santana. Starting to drizzle again here at the ballpark, so we're getting some umbrellas to pop up.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, from a weather standpoint, other than the drizzles that are occurring right now, this is the kind of weather that you'd like to have on a doubleheader day. It's going to be a long day at the ballpark. You'd much rather play in these types of conditions versus playing in 95 or 100-degree heat.
There's a ground ball again to first base. That's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Drew Verhagen. He has looked good in his big league debut. Comerica Park between the Tigers and Indians. So far, nothing doing offensively. Only had 3 hits between the two teams. One of those hits belongs to Miguel Cabrera, who singled back in the first inning. And now, when you look at his numbers against Kluber, they're even better than they were at the start of the game. .520 against Kluber. With 3 home runs. It'll be Cabrera, Martinez, and Martinez. Meanwhile, Kluber's career numbers at Comerica Park have been a little bit lofty. 9.95 ERA.
So far, he's doing a pretty good job at making the Tigers hitters utilize the big part of the ballpark. Brantley in center field has been busy and with some lazy fly balls.
We'll spin one up there for a strike. 0-1. Cabrera batting .310 now. He's had 3 hits in this series. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on Miguel. Kluber has 4 games of 10 or more strikeouts. We told you of the 13 strikeout game he had against the Sox earlier this year. He struck out 7 straight at one point in that game. The 0-2. Lined into right field, base hit.
We're going to make that our bell tire pitch by pitch, and the fact that Miguel Cabrera just owns, I mean absolutely owns Corey Kluber. He gets ahead of him with a cut fastball at about 88 miles an hour, comes back with a breaking ball down that Miggy swings at, and then he goes off the plate about 6 inches, and there's Miggy waiting for him to hit the ball the opposite direction. Miggy has 4 hits in the series. 3 of them have gone right in this same spot.
Here is Victor Martinez. Martinez hit a rocket his first time up into right field, but they were playing him so deeply on the shift that Kipnis was able to make a diving play. This time with a runner at first base, Kipnis is playing to pull. However, he's on the dirt. Here's the 1-0. In for a strike, 1-1 on Victor Martinez.
Defensively here at first base, Santana very easily could play behind Miguel Cabrera with Victor Martinez in the batter's box, and the fact that Martinez pulls everything down in that direction, he could buy himself a little bit more room. I know Miggy did steal a base last night, which was the first of this year, but he's not likely to run.
Wave and a miss. One ball, 2 strikes rather on Victor Martinez.
And if you back up just a little bit, if you're Santana, you give yourself a better opportunity of making a play should Victor hit something in your direction.
Santana's primary position now first base with the Indians. 1-2 on Martinez, who made the All-Star team for the 5th time this year. Low and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's why they play Victor to the pull field. As a left-hander, he does not go to left field all that often. He will go up the middle, but a lot of his hits are to right field. That's why they've got 3 infielders bunched up against Victor on the right side.
Tap foul behind home plate. 2-2 the count stays on Martinez. The other Martinez, JD, waiting on deck. Cabrera getting things started with a single, now 2 for 2 against Kluber in this game. Now Kluber ready with the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Martinez, who doesn't strike out all that much, goes down swinging here.
Well, he left the strike zone here. It's a fastball that's up at the top of the zone that Victor swings right through. Trevor Bauer also got Victor in last night's contest with a fastball in the mid-90s upstairs.
So the 3rd strikeout of the series now for Martinez. Here is JD Martinez. .431 in the month of July for JD. Fly to center field his first time up. And Kluber again hits the outside corner. Martinez also in the month of July, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. Swings and misses 0-2. Nick Castellanos waiting on deck. Tigers bat in the 4th in a scoreless game. Here's the 0-2. Fouled away. Kluber, we mentioned, certainly had good enough numbers to be an all-star. He was part of the final vote, and his team got behind him. His manager as well, Terry Francona, voted as often as he could on his computer for Kluber, who obviously did not make it. Chris Sale was selected. So Kluber decided to take the family to a lake in New Hampshire. That's how he spent his all-star break. And the 0-2 again. Drilled to right field on a line. Straight Murphy, though. Hit it hard, but right at him. 2 gone. We'll bring up Castellanos.
JD Martinez got himself a breaking ball to hit here, but what he was thinking about doing with 2 strikes is hitting the ball the opposite way. And it's a hanging breaking ball. This is one that you really could turn on, but his mindset was driving it the other way, so he kind of tied himself up. See how closely he pulls his hands in, just tied himself up. He didn't really extend his arms, therefore he wasn't able to drive that ball to right field like he normally does.
Here's Castellanos. 0-1 on Nick, who struck out back in the 2nd. '21 2-base hits. Most among American League rookies, tied with Jose Abreu. His 34 RBIs are 3rd among AL rookies. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2 now on Nick Castellanos. We've had only 4 hits in this game, 3 by the Tigers and only 1 for the Indians. Leadoff single by Cabrera, but he is still standing at first base with 2 outs. Tried to check it. He went around. Strike 3. Castellanos is out. That is the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Corey Kluber. 4 in the books here at Comerica. Still no score. Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. And by the new Chevrolet Silverado light duty and heavy duty lineup. Cloudy, overcast day here in the Motor City today. Game 1 in this doubleheader. We'll travel to the 5th inning, and we are still looking for our first run of the game. Drew Verhagen making his major league debut, and so far he's made it a good one. He needed just 8 pitches to get through the 4th. Got a 1-2-3, and now back to work he goes in the 5th inning. Lonnie Chisenhall, Nick Swisher, Yan Gomes against the rookie right-hander. He struck out Chisenhall back in the 2nd. First pitch is a little high. 1 ball and no strikes. There's the ball outside. 2-0 the count. We're talking to Brett Ausmus before the game yesterday, asking him how he decided who would pitch game 1, who would pitch game 2. He went with Verhagen in game 1, and it was simple why he did so. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's outside, 3-0. He simply said, I asked Max Scherzer, which game would you rather pitch? And Max said, I'd like the nightcap. Okie doke, that's the way we'll go. So the veteran got his pick, and Scherzer decided game 2.
Sounds easy enough.
Pretty simple way of doing it. No matchups involved. Not trying to figure out would he be better off in game 1 or game 2.
Well, so far Brad has to be elated at the fact that he's gone out there and pitched into the 5th inning. It's not that he didn't think he'd do so, but after using 5 members of your bullpen last night, you just were hoping that Drew would go out there and pitch a good game.
Yeah, and he's given him 4 solids so far as he pitches here in the 5th. The 3-2 fouled off. Count stays full on Chisenhall. You mentioned he walked a couple of times last night. Chisenhall's walks are way up this year, which may be one of the reasons why his average is way up as well.
On base percentage nearly 400.
And he's got himself another walk. So leadoff man is on here in the 5th inning. There's Nick Swisher. Swisher struck out his only time up back in the 2nd. Batting .211 now. Swisher knocked in 3 in last night's opener. Drops in for a strike, 0-1. Verhagen, a 4th round pick of the Tigers back in 2012 out of Vanderbilt. Driven to center field and hit well. Jackson on his horse, and he's going to look at this one, roll all the way to the wall. That'll get a run in. Chisenhall comes in, and for Swisher, it's his 4th RBI of the series.
And Verhagen threw Swisher a first pitch breaking ball at 74, and he threw it for a strike. Then he came upstairs with a fastball that was out of the strike zone, and somehow Swisher able to get on top of this ball and hit it over the head of Jackson, then straight away center field. Most left-handers love the ball down, but showing some bat range there was Nick Swisher.
40th RBI of the season for Swisher, who's had a big series so far, and that's his 17th double as well. Still nobody out. 1 run in. The Indians have a 1-0 lead. Swing and a miss as Gomes unable to make contact. 0-1. He bounced out his first time up to the shortstop. Gomes last night 1 for 3 with a walk. it's in there for a strike now. Quickly 0-2. Indians get a run on just their second hit of the game. An RBI double by Swisher. Here's the 0-2. Missed outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. .70 thrown now by Verhagen. 39 of which are strikes. Here's the 1-2. Holiday, nice block, holding the runner at second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Get some activity now in the Detroit bullpen. Lefty Blaine Hardy is starting to warm up. You mentioned the Tigers had to go deep into their bullpen last night. Here's the 2-2. Broken bat rolled foul.
Yeah, last night was a funny game. Sanchez absolutely cruising into the 7th inning, and the next thing you know, before the game is over, Brad had to go down to that bullpen to pull out 5 members of the bullpen. I'm still trying to figure out what happened last night to Anibal.
Yeah, that train derailed quickly for Sanchez.
It all started with that harmless base hit up the middle by Michael Brantley.
As a result, the Tigers went to Kroll. They pitched Cope. They pitched Hardy. They pitched Chad Smith, who was sent down before the game today. He threw a lot of pitches. 2-2 is lined to right field. That'll drop, base hit. And they're going to stop Swisher at third. So 3 straight base runners reach here in the 5th inning.
Outstanding at bat by Yan Gomes. The entire at bat, he was trying to hit something to right field or hit something on the ground towards second base. He finally got a ball up in the strike zone to do so. It's a hanging breaking ball, but a really good at bat by Yan Gomes.
And with that, Jeff Jones comes out of the Detroit dugout. Tigers trailing in this one 1-0. And the Indians now have runners at first and third, nobody out. So Verhagen now will face the lefty Murphy. And Murphy walked. It was back in the 3rd. Runners in scoring position this year. That's been one of Murphy's specialties. 362. He's got a couple of guys aboard here with nobody out. Bouncing ball right side, base hit. It'll get through, score a run. Swisher scores. Gomes goes to second, and that's 4 straight Indians that have reached. RBI for Murphy is 45th.
And with Yan Gomes on first base, Miggy holding him on, that's exactly what Murphy was trying to do, pull something between the hole, and he was successful in doing so.
There's still nobody out in the inning. Tigers get on the telephone to see where Blaine Hardy is. He's been warming up this half inning, and now Ryan Rayburn will step in. 4th hit of the game for the Indians. Rayburn is 0 for 1 with a fly ball. Gomes and Murphy, the base runners for the Tribe. Bender drops in for a strike. 0-1 on Ryan Rayburn. Knocked in a run in last night's ball game. Came on as a pinch hitter and stayed in the contest. This is Verhagen's first really big jam of this afternoon. There's the ground ball right side, flagged by Kinsler to second. One relay. In time, the double play, and what a play by Kinsler.
Ian Kinsler is outstanding at the second base position. He's only committed 2 errors all year long. And this did not look like it was going to be a double play ball. But he snares it, but the key to the play is he was able to stay on his feet. If he leaves his feet, he does not get that firmer throw to Suarez. And the ball back across the diamond appeared to be plenty enough time to get Rayburn.
Kinsler has been doing that all season long. And it appears he has started a double play here, although Terry Francona now trying to buy some time, and Brad Mills telling him to take a look at it.
Well, apparently the angle that we saw first looked like he was clearly out, but it must be a different angle telling them something differently.
Yeah, this angle you can actually see when the ball hits the glove.
He is clearly out.
Well, that's not even close.
Why challenge that?
Well, now the umpires will gather on the infield here. But it appeared that throw beat him cleanly at first base.
Are they arguing the fact that Suarez at second base wasn't on the bag?
Yeah, it must be, because they're not immediately going to the headsets here. So I don't think the call at first base is at issue here. I think you might be right. They are clearly talking about something else. All the umpires get together. They are not looking at the play at first base, it doesn't appear. These are some of the plays that are ineligible for video review.
And the one play that we thought they may be looking at, they cannot review the neighborhood play. So even if Suarez didn't come across the bag as the ball was in his glove, nothing they could do about that.
So that's why they didn't take a look at it. They just all convened. Here's another look at the play at second. I mean, he was probably off the bag, but that's the neighborhood play there, and that's just not going to be reviewed. So the double play stands, and a ball inside and low to Kipnis. Meanwhile, a big double play for Verhagen.
And what a play by Ian Kinsler.
Kipnis 0 for 2, strikeout, flyout. It's plays like that that can change the momentum of not only an inning but a game. I mean, they could have runners at first and third right now with only 1 out. But now Verhagen is 1 batter away from getting out of this inning.
And another run in.
He has missed again, 3 balls and no strikes. RBIs in the inning for Swisher and Murphy. And Kipnis looks at a strike, 3-1. The 80th pitch thrown by Verhagen. Here they are by inning. Line drive, base hit right field. That'll get another run in. 2-out single by Kipnis scores a run, and Cleveland leads 3-0. So that's a clutch 2-out hit. That'll be the 5th hit of the game now for the Indians. Kipnis has his 29th RBI, a 3-run 5th inning. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Fly ball left field. That'll chase Davis back to the track. Midway onto the track to retire the side. However, the Indians get 3 runs. You're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Fifth inning, Corey Kluber goes back to the hill. You look at the American League strikeout leaders. Kluber now has jumped ahead of Max Scherzer by 1. David Price leads the way with 164 strikeouts this year. David Price still, by the way, a member of the Tampa Bay Rays.
He hasn't been traded yet?
Nope, still there. Here's Suarez to lead things off. Tigers bat in the 5th and a strike called.
Houston Street of the San Diego Padres came off the board yesterday. The Los Angeles Angels, they acquired him. Angels have been busy. They've acquired a couple of pitchers.
The 0-1 pitch outside.
They got Jason Grilli a couple of weeks ago from the Pittsburgh Pirates, so they're very active before the trade deadline.
Well, they've got to make some moves based on how Oakland has been playing this year. Oakland got some margin.
Yep.
And Hamill. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Eugenio Suarez.
Which means the Seattle Mariners are going to have to make a move sooner or later if they're going to keep pace with the 2 teams they're chasing out west.
Now the 2-1. 3-1 on Suarez. He fly to center field in his first at bat.
Kluber hadn't walked a batter today. 4 strikeouts. He's only given up 3 hits.
Here's his first walk. Leadoff man on here in the 5th inning. Other news and notes around the big leagues. You talked about Houston Street going to the Angels from the Padres. How about Dan Uggla being released?
Well, he basically had worn out his welcome in Atlanta. 162 average this year in 48 games.
CC done for the year. Knee surgery on his right knee.
Bad year for pitchers in baseball. A lot of Tommy John surgeries. A lot of guys missing considerable time. And the Yankees, they've been hit as hard with the injury bug as far as pitchers are concerned as any team in baseball.
There's a strike called on Brian Holiday. Holiday fly to center field in his only at bat. The Indians got Kluber 3 runs to work with, but he's walked the leadoff man here in the 5th. That's pulled into left field. A single for Brian Holiday. The Tigers coming right back. 2 on, nobody out.
There's a perfect example if you get fooled on a pitch, and Brian was fooled on the off-speed pitch here thrown by Kluber. His body was out in front, but he kept his hands back long enough to get just enough bat speed to hit the ball past the shortstop. You can see the body's gone, but as long as the hands stay back, you still have an opportunity to get a base hit. Well, you wonder if Rajai Davis will be up there bunting for a base hit. And if he doesn't get the base hit, at least he gets a couple of runners in scoring position. But he's also done his best work in these situations. 362 with runners in scoring position for Rajai.
They're a little bit tight at the corners, a couple of steps in on each side. And Davis sends a ground ball off the glove of Kluber, picked up by Kipnis. He'll fire to first. Out at first base. That's a double play.
What a play by Kipnis. And it looked like they were going to get a double play anyway, but the ball was redirected by Kluber to the second baseman Kipnis. Then it was too late for Brian Holiday to elude the tag by Kipnis, and then he gets the ball over to Santana to complete the twin killing.
So both second basemen showing off their defensive skills in this game. Two gone down with the runner at third. That'll bring up Jackson. Light rain still falling here at the ballpark. It's been cloudy and kind of rainy all day here. Jackson looks at ball one. Two base hit in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2. Two and all the count. Kinsler on deck. Kluber came in with a 2.06 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's up to 70 pitches now with 45 of those strikes. Two is chopped right back up the middle. Gonna be a tough play. Kipnis will not have a play. Safe at first base, and the run scores. Double clutch cost him.
Had Kipnis been able to make the exchange from the glove to the throwing hand on the first chance, he probably gets Austin Jackson, but because he did not, and he had to take a couple of reaches into the glove to get the handle that he wanted, that allowed Austin Jackson to get an infield single.
That'll put the Tigers on the board. It's a 3-1 ball game. RBI 25 for Jackson. And now Kinsler steps in. We'll keep an eye on Jackson. AJ with 8 steals this year. Has been caught 4 times. One ball, no strikes on Kinsler. Ground ball and a strikeout in this game. Was up earlier in the game. He is still throwing in the bullpen for Detroit.
He is out there warming up like he's coming into the game to start the 6th inning.
Meanwhile, Kinsler waits on a 2-0. Here it is. Pulled and caught at third base, and a line. Chisenhall stretching out to end the inning. Tough break there for Kinsler. Hit it hard. Chisenhall saves a double. Is done for the afternoon. The 3-run fifth is what ultimately, I guess, did him in this game.
Well, it all started out with a leadoff walk to Chisenhall, and those walks can be kisses of death when you're in a scoreless ball game. Then a fastball that was out of the strike zone that Nick Swisher was able to climb the ladder and get the job done. Then Gomes and Murphy followed. And just like last night, their best inning they put together the 7th inning last night. 3 runs on the board for the 5th inning here against Verhagen.
All in all, though, pretty good job. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks in this contest. And so Blaine Hardy comes in a wall-side windows pitching change.
Good numbers for Hardy, pitching in his 14th game. ERA just a shade over 2, 13 strikeouts, 6 base on balls for the left-hander.
Brantley is 1 for 2. Slaps that one back out of play. 0-2 the count. Brantley, then Santana, then Chisenhall. The Indians had 3 runs, 5 hits. The Tigers a run on 5 hits. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball first base side, righty Cabrera. Shovel toss to Hardy covering. 1 gone. Time for a game break now. To the studio we go with Lindsey Hayes. It is the I guess you'd call it more of a sprinkle or a drizzle, but it's still coming down here, making the track a little bit wet. Here's Carlos Santana, and he looks at ball 1 inside. Santana's 0 for 1. Two and 0 the count. So Hardy now has gone to 3-0 on Santana, who in this ball game has a walk and a ground out.
And could possibly have the green light if he gets himself a fastball right down the middle.
Indians above 500 for the first time since June 19th with their win last night. They raised their record to 48-47. It's a big swing there, fouled straight back, 3-2. Their high water mark this year is 2 games over 500. been kind of a win one lose one season for Cleveland. They pulled within 6.5 of the Tigers with their win last night.
They haven't been a very good road team, although they did win that game convincingly last night against Detroit. 9 games under 500 are the Indians on the road.
Full count on Carlos Santana. And he checked it for another walk. It's his second of the game. Santana leads baseball in walks. He's got 66 now. One on and one out. That'll bring up Lonnie Chisenhall. It was his base on balls that got things started back in the 5th inning for the Indians. He then scored on the Swisher double. Bouncing ball right side over the head of Miguel Cabrera. Santana hits the bag at second. He'll go to third. He's in there standing up. And the Indians coming right back with a walk and a single. 2 on 1 out. It's going to bring up Swisher.
And nothing Miggy could do. It's a breaking ball that Chisenhall bounces right in front of home plate, right over the head of Miguel Cabrera.
Swisher will bat from the right side against the lefty Hardy.
Swisher batting 176 as a right-handed batter this year. He came into the contest batting 226 as a left-hander.
Missed inside, 1-0. Hardy goes back to first base. Swisher is signed through 2016. Broke in with the Athletics, and he went to the Yankees. Also a stop in Chicago between Oakland and New York. There's a bouncing ball left side, scooped by Castellanos to second, one, and a double play. That one came in handy. 5-4-3, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. One of a doubleheader here at the ballpark today, and it's Sunday Kids Day when the Tigers face the Indians tomorrow at 1:08. All kids 14 and under receive an Anibal Sanchez poster, and they'll also enjoy free rides on the Comerica Park Carousel and Ferris wheel. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Well, the Tigers are down by a couple of runs. They got the middle of their lineup coming up. 3, 4, and 5. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez. And they're facing Corey Kluber, who allowed a run in the 5th inning on an RBI hit and an infield hit by Jackson. And Kluber goes to work now in the bottom of the 6th, and it's rolled foul. This has not been a good matchup for Corey Kluber, Miguel Cabrera, that is. 2 more hits for Miggy. Both singles, his average up to 312 on the year. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2 now on Miguel.
Yeah, good breaking ball here thrown by Kluber. It's a slider at 81. It's down. And Miggy swings right over the top of it. I mean, Kluber had Miggy down, no balls, 2 strikes his last time up, and Miggy got a base hit the opposite way.
We got him on strikes that time as Miguel flails and misses.
Smart pitching by Kluber. The first pitch Miggy swung at, Miggy was too quick on. And that told Kluber that he was looking to turn on something, so he went away with 2 breaking balls down and away, and he got Miggy to swing through both of those. So real nice observation there by Kluber and Gomes that Miggy was looking to pull the ball that time up.
Will be the 6th strikeout of the game for Kluber. One of those is Victor Martinez, who fanned in his last at bat. The hook missing outside. 1 ball to no strikes.
You know, that last pitch sequence to Miguel Cabrera by Kluber is a perfect example of what we talk about from time to time at a pitcher being able to read the hitter's swings. And he was able to detect something in the first swing by Miggy that led him to 2 breaking balls down and away.
That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kluber trying to get his 10th win of the season with a victory here today. He's got himself a 3-1 lead to work with. Now the 1-1. Martinez slow tapper back to the mound. And Kluber will underhand it to first. 2 gone.
Here's a high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity on Corey Kluber. His top fastball today has been at 96 miles an hour. And he has thrown a lot of fastballs this afternoon.
Well, with 2 outs, here's J.D. Martinez. The Indians got 3 in the 5th. The Tigers answered with 1. Breaking ball, and he spins it up there for strike 1. J.D. in his last at bat, line to right field. He's put the ball in the air twice in this game, 0 for 2. There's another ball in the air. This one is straightaway center and shallow. It's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Kluber. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the 7th. Seventh inning, 3-1 in favor of the Cleveland Indians. Mario and Rod back here at the ballpark. And, well, your thoughts on Drew Verhagen, first big league start? Not too bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, he threw a lot of strikes. He had a few strikeouts in the game. He walked 3, and I think that final walk kind of got him off track in the 5th inning.
What do you got on Corey Kluber? This guy has been good all season long. Pretty good here today as well.
You know, he really hasn't been all that good against the Tigers, however, and he hadn't pitched all that well in this particular ballpark. But I like his game plan in this particular contest. Most of the fly balls that he's given up to the right-handed batters have all gone to center field. So he is utilizing the biggest part of this ballpark today.
You know, the other thing is the Indians have come to town here. They needed to win some games, and in the first 2 at least, they've looked pretty good.
They have. I mean, they came in 7.5 back. Chasing the Tigers in the standings. They're 6.5 back as we speak, so they can't split the series. They've got to win the series if they're going to make up any ground whatsoever and accomplish what they really came to town to do.
Well, Blaine Hardy goes back to work. He came out in the 6th inning, pitched it out of a jam with a double play ball. He's got Yan Gomes to deal with here in the 7th. Gomes 1 for 2, singled in the 5th inning, scored a run. He fouled that one straight back. No balls, 2 strikes. It'll be Gomes, Murphy, and Rayburn, bottom 3 here for the Indians. There's a bouncing ball foul, third base side. Yan Gomes, by the way, celebrating a birthday today, his 27th birthday. Got a single and a ground out. A couple of hits in the series. Hardy down with the 0-2. Got a piece of it to stay alive. All 3 of the Cleveland runs came in the 5th inning. RBI double by Swisher, RBI single by Murphy, and then Kipnis with 2 outs drove 1 in. And Kluber has pretty much done the rest. He gave up a single to Jackson, which drove in a run for the only Tiger run in the 5th. It's driven back out of play. They will play the night game tonight as the second part of this doubleheader on Fox Sports 1, and then of course the finale in the series tomorrow on Fox Sports Detroit. Day baseball before the Tigers head west. Another foul back out of play. Tonight's matchup features Max Scherzer and Zach McAllister.
Max is pitching the same way that he pitched last year when he won his first Cy Young. 146 strikeouts, only 35 walks, and an overpowering, explosive fastball.
Another foul ball as Gomes continues to give Hardy fits.
Well, Hardy can get Gomes out if he goes inside with a fastball, but if he goes in there, he has to make sure he gets it in there. He tried to go in there 2 pitches ago, and he left it over the heart of the plate. Gomes fouled it straight back.
Here's the 8th pitch coming up in this at bat. And his golf to left field, base hit. An 0-2 single to left, and Gomes has his 2nd hit in the game.
Instead of going fastball inside in the 0-2 count, he threw a breaking ball that was down, and with 2 strikes, Gomes stayed back long enough to rip it to left field.
He's going to bring up David Murphy. RBI single in his last at bat. Murphy takes low and away, 1-0. Indians have won 9 of their last 13 games. And they've gotten even now with Kansas City for 2nd place in the Central Division. The 1-0. A little bit low. 2 balls, no strikes. Royals, meanwhile, in their last 10 are 3-7, so they, along with Cleveland, are 6.5 back. Three 0. Tigers have some action now in the bullpen. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and it's ball 4. First two men reach here in the 7th inning. Single and a walk. The second base on balls given up by Hardy, and Phil Koch, the lefty, warming up. Going to bring Jeff Jones out as well. They have a conversation on the mound. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Detroit Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Conversation is over on the mound, and now with 2 on, nobody out, Ryan Rayburn, the number 9 hitter, will stand in. Rayburn hit into a double play, which kind of short-circuited their 5th inning. Batting .205, he's 0 for 2 in this game. And it's in there, a strike. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing in, good block by Holiday. The lead runner, Gomes, thought about advancing to third, but thought better of it.
And Gomes, being a catcher himself, knows how difficult it is, one, for a catcher to block the ball and then keep it in front of him, and so that you can't advance 90 feet. Holiday did it perfectly there, getting both hands between the legs to make sure the ball does not scoot through the 5-hole. That's textbook right there.
Swing and a miss, and Rayburn down on strikes.
It's a knuckle curveball here thrown by Blaine Hardy, and this is the pitch that kind of put him on the map in spring training. And he stuck around till the final cuts of spring training. They loved his breaking ball so much, and the fact that the Tigers were looking for another left-hander in that bullpen. I like the fact that Brian Holiday, knowing that Yan Gomes, a catcher out at second base, knows the signs now. So he went out, and before this first pitch to Kipnis, they have changed the signs, and it'll be a new pitcher giving him the signs.
So Phil Koch is about to enter this ball game, as Brad Ausmus likes Koch against Kipnis a little bit better here. And it's the wall side windows pitching change. Tigers go to the bullpen. We're in the 7th, game 1 in the doubleheader. We'll be back. Cleveland already leading at 3-1. Blaine Hardy is done for the afternoon. He will give way to fellow left-hander Phil Koch.
Yeah, Phil Koch also pitched in last night's game. His numbers continue to inch their way down, especially with the earned run average department. And Phil Koch apparently has a birthday that he is sharing today as well with Yan Gomes.
Happy birthday, Phil Koch. And so he will inherit now 2 runners aboard with only 1 out.
A lot of birthdays the last couple of days.
A very busy time of the year. Hunter yesterday, Suarez.
And Matt Martin.
Kipnis at 286 career against Koch. As the Indians try and rebuild the lead here. Or add to it. Kipnis RBI single back in the 5th. Ball 1, dart slowing away. Kipnis 1 for 3. He's got 5 RBIs now in this series. Three runs, 7 hits for the Indians. A run on 5 hits for Detroit. Single by Gomes, walk to Murphy. Those are the 2 base runners for Cleveland. Here's the 1-0. Kipnis swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And good fastball down and in here at about 92 miles an hour. And a 2-seam variety thrown by Phil Koch.
Bouncing in, 2-1 the count on Kipnis. Kipnis last night was in the middle of a 1 for 14 slump. Then he hit a couple of home runs late in the game to break that slump. Another RBI hit today. Two-1 is outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Now it's Asdrubal Cabrera waiting on deck. Drilled toward the gap in right center field. That ball is going to get down, base hit. They're going to try and score the run. Gomes coming around, throw to the plate, off target. He'll score standing up. Ball gets away from Holiday, and the runner will advance to second as Kipnis moves up 90 feet. Gomes scores to make it 4-1. What a series it's been for Kipnis.
Well, Kipnis got himself in a predictable fastball count, 3-1, hit a seed into center field. Kinsler comes up, fires the ball to Holiday. The ball scoots right through the legs of Holiday, and I'd be shocked if they give anybody other than Holiday that air.
Now the infield coming in. That air allows the runner to go to second base. Infield in for the Tigers. Here is Cabrera with runners at second and third. Single E2. Way outside of Cabrera, 1-0. And it's the 8th hit of the ball game now for Cleveland. They've again put their lead back up to 3, 4-1 ball game. Cabrera's 0 for 3, fly ball in the 5th inning in his last at bat. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Now they got the runner hung up between second and third. Kinsler running him back, makes the tag for the out there. And Cabrera reaching on a fielder's choice.
And Kipnis must have thought that The contact play was on, but the runner at third stayed home. Therefore, he got caught in no man's land. Ian Kinsler able to apply the tag. And Murphy simply held up.
So there's a break for the Tigers. First and third now with 2 outs. And here is Michael Brantley. Now Brad Ausmus comes jogging out of the dugout.
Brad Ausmus will remind Phil Koch that even though first base is occupied, you still have an open base. There's nobody standing on second base, and the damage that Michael Brantley has done against the Tigers this year, whether it be a left-hander or a right-hander, pitched to him very carefully. I think a lot of times people get caught up in thinking that the only time that you can really pitch around a hitter is if first base is unoccupied, but that's not the case.
Well, when you look at the runners in scoring position numbers for the series, how about the Indians? They are 9 for 18. And that includes today's game, 4 for 15 for the Tigers. So here's Brantley with runners at first and third. That's in for a strike, 0-1. Brantley had a bunt single his first at bat. One for 3 in the ball game. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball to second. Kinsler has it there, and that will end the inning. Another run, though, for the Indians to extend their lead to 4-1. Coming up the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Health Plus. Top 4-1 here. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Drew Verhagen made his big league debut. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. Cabrera and Kluber 5-19. Cabrera versus Kluber, I should say. He continues to beat up on Kluber. Kipnis in the series 4 for 9. And a couple of home runs. Meanwhile, Kluber has gone 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts in the contest. And Nick Castellanos leads it off. He'll be followed by Eugenio Suarez and Brian Holiday. That's in for a strike, and the bottom of the 7th is underway.
Corey Kluber has done a lot of that this afternoon. First pitch fastballs on the outer third of home plate. As a matter of fact, not only first pitch strikes, but most of his fastballs to the right-handers have been away.
0-2 now on Castellanos.
16 of 24 in the first pitch strike category for Corey Kluber.
He has struck out Castellanos twice in this game. And he tried to get the outside corner that time, couldn't do it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Castellanos is 1 for 5 in the series. Had a double in his first at bat last night. Now Kluber with the 1-2, bouncing in. 2-2 on Castellanos. Suarez waiting on deck. Swing and a miss, and he strikes him out for the 3rd time in this ball game.
And Kluber has been on top of his game here today. He came in with 9 victories. He clearly has been the most consistent starter on Cleveland's roster all year, painting that fastball outside, occasionally going to a real nice slow breaking ball at the bottom of the zone to get a few strikeouts this afternoon. But most of the time, he has pitched to a lot of contact. Real nice breaking ball to finish off Castellanos for the 3rd time today.
Castellanos becomes the 7th strikeout of the afternoon for Kluber. Suarez walked his last time up, scored the Tigers' only run so far.
That's why most pitching coaches will tell their pitchers, if you can command the fastball down and away from the right-handed batters and you throw about 89 to 92, you can have success in this game.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
He's rolling now.
7 strikeouts, 6 on the ground, 6 in the air. This will be his 90th pitch of the afternoon. Here it is, the 0-2. Off the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Suarez.
And most of the flyouts in the game, you saw the 6 of them, they've gone to either Brantley or the right fielder, Murphy. No fly balls today to left field for Ryan Rayburn.
Breaking ball, did he go? Yes, he went around, said first base umpire Toby Baster. And Suarez doesn't like it. Really, really close. Really close. 2 gone. And that is 8 strikeouts for Kluber. Now Brian Holiday, who's singled, setting up a run back in the 5th. In there for strike 1 again. Bouncing ball foul, third base side, and now quickly Holiday behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's action. Corey Knebel, who was called up today before the game. He is warming up. Chad Smith was sent down after throwing a boatload of pitches in his inning of work last night. Tigers playing a doubleheader today, needed a fresh arm. It is fouled back out of play.
And Corey Knebel got a few opportunities to pitch at this level before being sent back down to Toledo. And walked into the Tigers clubhouse at about 11 this morning. And really, it's almost like he had never left.
Here's the 0-2. Got him, strike 3. Corey Kluber strikes out the side, and the Cleveland right-hander has 9 strikeouts today.
Kluber is dealing right now.
game one of this doubleheader. And Friday, August 8th, you can swing for the fences during Tigers fantasy batting practice. Spend over 3 hours shagging fly balls, playing catch, and hitting pitches thrown by a former Tiger. Call 313-471-2550 or visit Tigers.com. Well, Tigers fans hoping for something late to cheer about in this game. Their ball club down 4-1 as we head to the 8th inning. And what has been a very cloudy, rainy afternoon here at the ballpark. And the Tigers pretty much have been shackled as well by Corey Kluber, who's done some really good work. He struck out the side in the 7th inning. Phil Koch has finished his warm-up pitches. And Santana, the first man to face him. Chisenhall, then Swisher. Four runs on 8 hits for the Indians, a run on 5 hits for Detroit. Verhagen started the ball game. Blaine Hardy came on in the 6th, and then Koch midway through the 7th. No balls, 1 strike on Santana. Down the right field line, slicing away from Martinez. J.D. on the run. Oh, what a play in the right field corner.
The only way that you make a play like J.D. Martinez just made is you get a really good jump and you take a direct route to get to the baseball, and that's exactly what J.D. Martinez was able to do.
Martinez made a couple of those plays in Kansas City.
Sure did.
And he's got another one here running to the corner at Comerica Park. Here is Chisenhall. That's in there for a strike, 0-1. Pretty good numbers against Koch. Really good numbers against Phil Koch. 4 for 8. Home run included. Single and a walk in this game. And he backed him out of there, almost hit him. 1 ball and 1 strike on Chisenhall.
Several of the left-handers that Phil has seen since coming into the game, he's not been afraid to throw that 4-seam fastball inside.
Chopper back up the middle. Kinsler, long run on the backhand. Not in time. Infield hit for Chisenhall. His second hit of the ball game.
Ian Kinsler makes this particular play as well as any second baseman in the American League. The only difference, and the only guy that comes to mind that might make that play better, is Robinson Cano, and that's only because Robbie has a better throwing arm than Ian does at that second base position.
Swisher due up. Tigers again will go to the bullpen, it appears. Brad Ausmus out there. And the call will be made to the bullpen. So he gives up the baseball. Will step aside. Pitching change here in Detroit. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. By Wallside Windows, the official window company of Fox Sports Detroit. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Back here at Comerica, the Tigers and Indians, game 1 in this doubleheader. And the Tigers making a roster move. They've recalled Corey Knebel from AAA. Chance Smith goes down to the Toledo Mud Hens, and Knebel now will enter this ball game for the Tigers.
And Knebel's got a pretty good fastball. Fastball will get all the way up to about 95 miles an hour. He's got a nice breaking ball, curveball, and a changeup.
This will be the 7th big league appearance for Knebel. And he will go after Nick Swisher here with 1 on 1 out, 4-1 game in the 8th. Runner goes, and a big jump. Throw down to second is in time anyway. Holiday put him down.
What a great throw by Brian Holiday. Chisenhall does not have a lot of speed, but he got a great jump. But even though he got a great jump, the footwork of Brian Holiday and the accurate throw down to second base, he's able to throw out his second runner of the game.
Boy, by a fairly lengthy margin, too. So there are 2 outs now, bases empty.
And nice tag applied as well by Suarez, and I like the fact that he was straddling second base, which meant that he allowed the ball to travel all the way in the air, and all he had to do was simply drop the glove on the left hand of Chisenhall. It's a 3rd caught stealing today of Brian Holiday. He picked off Michael Brantley earlier in the game. I forgot about that one.
Right. And Holiday's been showing off the arm today. Here's the 0-2. 1-2 on Swisher. RBI doubled back in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss, and Knebel comes in and does the job. With a little help from Brian Holiday. Here comes the bottom of the 8th. Indians still have the lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Corey Knebel comes on, gets the final out in the top of the inning. Also got Holiday to throw out a runner trying to steal Chisenhall, which helped out the cause. And well, the Tigers to this point have not done a whole lot against Corey Kluber.
Well, we showed you a graphic last night which indicated that a lot of the starters for the Indians have difficulty getting deep into games this year because their bullpen has logged the third most innings in baseball. But Kluber isn't one of those. Usually when he goes out there, he gives Terry Francona 6+ on many occasions, 7 innings, and he's also pitched 8 innings a few times.
Rajai Davis leads it off, and he sends a ground ball to short. Asdrubal Cabrera has it there, and on one pitch, Davis is out. 8 straight retired now by Corey Kluber. Tigers in-game box score looks like this. Jackson, who is stepping to the plate, has a couple of hits. 2 as well for Miguel Cabrera.
He's been able to slow down Victor. He's also been able to slow down JD and Castellanos in the middle of that batting order.
Single double RBI for Austin Jackson. And it's in there, a strike. Yet another first pitch strike for Corey Kluber.
He hasn't changed his game plan all day. Lots of fastballs away, lots of cut fastballs away.
Backed him out of there that time.
Let's see if he doubles up with the fastball inside or if that was just a setup. This next cut fastball or breaking ball down and away from Austin.
Down and away, but he bounced it in. 2-1. Max Scherzer will pitch game 2 in the doubleheader, and then tomorrow it's Smiley to close out the series against Josh Tomlin. Bouncer foul, 2-2 the count. And that's an even 100 now thrown by Kluber. Here are his numbers by inning.
He has not pitched in any stress today whatsoever.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Jackson is out on strikes, and Kluber continues to roll.
And nice breaking ball by Kluber, buried at the bottom of the zone. And another swing and miss. There's now 10 strikeouts for Kluber, who is just racking them up in the last couple of innings.
And Corey Kluber now has 5 games of 10 or more strikeouts, including today. Here's Ian Kinsler. He is 0 for 3. Ground out, strikeout, line out. He had a bullet his last time up with a man at third base, and Chisenhall made a nice play on it. That one is skied in the air to right center. Looks like another easy 1-2-3 inning for Kluber, and it is. Tigers go in order. We go to the 9th. It is 4-1 in favor of the Indians, and Cleveland 4 runs, 9 hits. Tigers run on 5 hits. It'll be Yan Gomes to start things off for the Indians. Bottom 3 facing Corey Knebel. Pretty good day for Gomes. Couple of singles, couple of runs scored.
And both of his singles today have come after he had fallen behind in the count with 2 strikes on breaking balls. One to right field, one to left field.
Knebel came on to get the final out swisher. He struck him out in the 8th inning. Two and 0 the count. Knebel with the 2-0 pitch. Drilled to center field. Jackson is on the move. Still going back. Looking up. Turning. It's up against the wall. The base of the wall. Gomes will hold at second with a leadoff double in the 9th. And he hit it 420 feet away.
He's got some pop in his bat. He's already homered 13 times this year. Got a 2-0 fastball at 95 and right down the middle and nearly hit it in that shrubbery in straightaway center. He killed that.
That he did. It's his 3rd hit of the game today. Never a good sign when you see the number 14 of Jackson on his back. Running one down. 13th double of the year for Gomes. Here is Murphy. In for strike 1.
Yeah, Murphy's got the wide open stance. He's looking for something inside so he can pull the ball to the right side of the infield.
Bouncing in and away from Holiday. Gomes will get to third himself. And now Murphy can just try and drive him in. Wild pitch.
Good instincts by Yan Gomes. Changeup that's down that Holiday is able to get in front of, but it trickles off the right hip, and Gomes saw that the ball was going to get far enough away from Holiday so he could advance to third.
Infield is in now for the Tigers. Here's the 1-1. Bouncing ball, base hit right field. That'll score another run. Gomes comes around to score his 3rd run of the game, and now a 5-1 ball game. Second RBI of the day for Murphy. And his 46th of the year. Ryan Rayburn is 0 for 3. Missed it high, ball 1. That is the 11th hit of the game now for the Cleveland Indians. Tigers, by the way, in the 9th inning have Cabrera, Martinez, and Martinez. 3, 4, and 5 due up. Bender missing outside. 2-0. Rayburn takes high. 3 balls, no strikes. Hagen started today, went 5 in his major league debut, gave way to Hardy and then Koch and now Knebel. 3 runs in 5 innings of work for Drew Verhagen. That's in there for strike 3 and 1 on Rayburn. Foul tip into the glove, and the count goes 3-2.
Four-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour right down the middle. Here it is, hit it.
Popped up in the air, right field. J.D. Martinez coming in. First out of the inning.
Jason Kipnis, he homered a couple of times in last night's game and proved to be the difference. Today, he's been getting busy as well. In the first inning, he took a hit away from Victor Martinez. Outstanding play. He got a base hit, drove in a run in the fifth inning. He also made another really nice play. He grabbed the ball, tagged Holiday, and then got the ball over the first base before Davis. So Kipnis has performed very well in the two-game series so far.
That he has 6 RBIs. And that'll get away from Holiday all the way to the backstop. It's going to go and advance the runner.
That'll be a pass ball there on Brian Holiday, who otherwise has caught a really good game here today.
And it'll put another Indian in scoring position.
Kipnis had 17 homers last year, drove in 84 and stole 30 bases, making an all-star team. So if you're Terry Francona, you have to be elated at the fact that he's performed so well the last 2 days.
He's got a chance to drive in another run now. In there for a strike, 1-1.
Good firm fastball there inside.
Fouled away, 1-2 on Kipnis. Murphy at second with 1 out. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Kipnis is out. Knebel gets his second strikeout, 2 away. It'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera today is 0 for 4, reaching on a fielder's choice in his last at bat. And he cuts and misses 0-1. Cabrera hitting just .247, 9 home runs this year. Leads all American League shortstops in runs scored with 51 this season. The 0-1. On the outer edge, 0-2. Now Knebel ready with the 0-2 pitch. Line to center field, a base hit. Here comes Murphy rounding third. Jackson's throw off target. He will score. Throw down to second into center field. And Asdrubal Cabrera will get into second base with an RBI. And it's now 6-1 Indians. Cabrera gets his 39th RBI. And now 6-1. It's a 5-run ball game. That is the 12th hit of the contest now for the Indians. And it's going to bring up Michael Brantley. Had a base hit in his first at bat. And batting .356 this year with men in scoring position. Ball one high.
Tigers have done a nice job against Brantley today. He got a bunt base hit his first time up, but otherwise he's rolled over to the right side of the infield on 3 occasions today.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Brantley looks at a strike. Three of the 5th, and the Indians have tacked on with 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 9th, and they lead 6-1. Breaking ball missing low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you can see that Brantley sprays the ball all around the ballpark. He goes to left field, he goes to center field, and a lot of times he does go to right field. 46 hits in that direction. That's how you compile a .328 batting average on July 19th.
Pulled foul. 2-2 on Brantley.
Tigers are forcing him today, though, to pull the baseball. It's worked so far.
Ground out to first, ground out to the pitcher, ground out to second base in his last 3 at bats. Brantley came in batting over .400 in the month of July. With 10 RBIs this month. And a swing and a miss to strike him out. That'll end the inning. However, they get 2 more runs, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. Inning 6-1 in favor of the Indians. We sent it down to Justin White now. Preview of what's coming up on Tigers Live.
Yeah, Mario, coming up right after the game. We'll have all of your highlights and post-game reaction on Tigers Live. We'll chat with Drew Verhagen about his Major League debut and also look ahead to Game 2 of today's doubleheader. Lindsey Hayes and Craig Monroe in the Coliseum studios. It's Tigers Live right after the game right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Mario and Rod, back to you.
Justin, thanks. Meanwhile, Corey Kluber headed back to the mound trying to finish this one off. 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, and 10 strikeouts in this contest. He has retired 10 consecutive Tigers. And the first pitch is in for a strike on Miguel Cabrera.
Corey Kluber has only 1 complete game in his major league career. That happened earlier this season against the Kansas City Royals.
Trying for another one here today. Just over 100 pitches. He's at 103. The 0-1 is hammered foul. Back out of play. 0-2 on Cabrera.
Chris Dickerson is now in left field. Ryan Rayburn is out of the game.
Tigers today have had only 2 runners reach second base. Cabrera, a couple of hits in this game, 2 out of 3. There's a ground ball, fair ball inside the bag at third. It'll be extra bases for Miguel. He's going to hustle in there to second base and beat the throw. It's a double. That a way to get it started.
Here's our call, Sam. Call of the game. Kluber really has no answer for Miguel Cabrera. First time up, Miggy with an infield single. Cabrera left his feet but couldn't complete the play. Next time up, Miggy singles the opposite way. But then the light came on for Kluber third time up. Miggy looking to pull the ball. Kluber knew that. He finished him off with 2 outstanding breaking balls down and away. But here's Miggy once again getting a hanging breaking ball inside, ripping this one down the left field corner for his 35th double of the season.
When you update the numbers versus Corey Kluber, they look like this. 555.
How do you hit 555 against a guy that is as good as Kluber and has been as good as Kluber has been all year? Well, I guess
the answer is you're as good as Cabrera is.
You're Miggy.
0-1 on Victor Martinez. They had retired 10 straight, and now Brian Shaw starting to warm up in the Cleveland bullpen.
Tigers have only 6 hits today. Miguel Cabrera has 3 of those.
Martinez, a couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Bouncer back up the middle. Asdrubal Cabrera gobbles it up. And Victor is out. That'll advance Cabrera to third. It's an 0 for 4 today for Martinez. That'll bring up J.D. Martinez. J.D. is 0 for 3. Fly balls in every at bat so far in this game. Gomes able to smother that one. 1 ball and no strikes. Tigers have been doubled up in the hit column today, 12-6, and they trail 6-1 in the 9th. The Indians trying to crawl to within 5.5 of the Tigers, so they win here in game 1 of the doubleheader. Here's the 1-0 in there for a strike. 1-1 on Martinez. Kluber has thrown as many as 111 pitches in a ball game this year. That was way back in April. Nope, I take it back. 114 is his high against Arizona. 114, so he's moving in on that. Here's the 2-1. 2-2. The other complete game, well, the only complete game right now that Kluber has was against the Royals, and in that contest 101 pitches. He didn't walk anybody in that game and struck out 11.
If you're Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, or Terry Francona, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, one of the things that you factor in when looking at the pitch count of Kluber today is you factor in how hard he's really had to work out there today. And really, other than Miguel Cabrera, he really hasn't had to work that hard this afternoon.
No, the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings were all 1-2-3 innings. Had a 1-2-3 second inning as well, so very little stress, very few base runners for the Tigers. 2-2.
77 of the 112 he has thrown have hit the strike zone, so he's had good command.
Bouncing ball, diving stop at first by Santana. They're going to come home. The run will score, but the out recorded at first base. It'll be an RBI for J.D. Martinez. 2 gone now, 6-2 ball game. So Kluber 1 out away now from his second complete game. Brad Ausmus coming out now to have a chat with Toby Basner, the first base umpire. What do you think that was about?
Not sure.
Whatever it was a very quick conversation. Did he tag the bag before he threw it? I think maybe is what Brad is asking. Yeah, he clearly did.
Yep, that probably is exactly what he was talking about.
So here's Castellanos now with the bases empty. And he drives one to center field, sinking, base hit. Maybe more. Castellanos on his way to second. And he's in there with a double. The Tigers not done yet. Well, don't forget, coming up tonight on Fox Sports 1, it's game 2 in this doubleheader. Zach McAllister and Max Scherzer in that game.
And Max looking to tie Rick Porcello with 12 victories. And for the Tigers against 3 losses.
Kluber is not going to get his complete game. And he is extremely disappointed. He will give up the baseball to Terry Francona. They will go to the bullpen. We shall return.
Two-thirds of brilliant baseball that he pitched against the Tigers, and he was first pitch strikes on just about every Tigers hitter that went up there. And take a look at all the strikeouts. All the right-handers got either fastballs or breaking balls on the outside part of the plate, and no one could catch up to Kluber today. 10 strikeouts for Corey Kluber. He was sensational this afternoon.
But he will not get the complete game thanks to that double by Nick Castellanos. Brian Shaw will come on.
And when Kluber wasn't striking out hitters, he was giving up fly balls to either center field or right field. So a really good day today for Corey Kluber. Lots of cut fastballs thrown by Brian Shaw, and he's got a good one.
Here is Eugenio Suarez to try and keep it going. 6-2 here in the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. And it's ball 1. Indians bullpen has been good this year at 3.00 ERA, which is 6th best in the major leagues. Castellanos keeping things alive here for the Tigers with a 2-out double. Suarez has a walk and a run scored in this game. And the 1-1 inside spins him out of there. High, the count now 3-1. Strike called in the outside corner. 3-2 now on Suarez. Tigers down to their final strike. They got one in the 5th and now one here in the 9th. That's all they've been able to do offensively in this game. Fouled back by Suarez. Right-handers came in batting just 160 versus Shaw. And again the 3-2. Checked it, but he went. Strike 3 called, and that's the ball game. So the Indians, in impressive fashion behind Corey Kluber today, win game 1 in the doubleheader. Yeah, they are 5.5 back in the standings now. We'll be back to Comerica Park.